What's up, people of YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's been almost exactly a month since I left Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, where I did get to see the Vision Pro in person. And so now that we do have a Vision Pro simulator, I feel like it's almost the absolute best time to create a series of tutorial videos for absolute beginners. So that's what this video is the start of. I think this is a completely new computer. You've never seen anything like it, but at the same time, I think Apple has made it as easy as possible for anyone to create really beautiful experiences. So, I could talk about it all day, but I think the most important step is that you can actually launch the simulator. So let's hop right in and get you set up. All right, so let's talk about some minimum requirements. So you will definitely need a Mac. Ideally, you'll have two, but if you only have one, that's good enough. But you can't use Windows at all, so let's just go ahead and unlock this really quickly here. And if you already have a Mac, in that top left corner here, you can click About This Mac. And this is where you can find the exact information about the Mac that you have. So you can see this here is a 24-inch M1 2021 iMac. And again, you can see the chip right there, Apple M1. So that's going to be the bare minimum ideally. You can use those Intel chips as well, but again, this technology is really designed for those M processors, and you'll get the best performance out of an M-based processor. So ideally, you'll have a Mac. If you have two, that's even better because you'll be running an unreleased version of macOS. So you'll notice the lock screen here is different than the lock screen here. And that's because this is running the newest version of macOS, which is not out yet. So again, pluses and minuses to that. It's really cool. It has some cool new features, and I can test out the visionOS simulator. But one of the downsides here is that sometimes there are issues with the betas because again, it's not out yet. It's for developers like myself. So if you don't need your Mac for anything absolutely critical, then yes, definitely try out a beta. But I will say, sometimes I've had issues where the beta wouldn't back things up to iCloud, or just random issues can occur. So be aware of that things can go completely wrong running a beta. But it's 2023. I think these things have gotten a lot better than when I started. But ideally, again, you'll have two Macs. If you only have one, then remember that you'll be running a beta and that random issues may occur. All right, so now that you know what type of computer you need, let's talk about the software side of things. So as I mentioned, you will need two things. You'll need macOS Sonoma, which is currently in beta, and then you'll also need Xcode Beta, which is the tool that you use to create iPhone, iPad, and of course, Vision Pro apps. So let's show you how to get these two beta apps installed and go from there. So the first thing you'll need to do is launch Safari. Welcome to my website, nearfuture.marketing. Definitely check it out. But let's go ahead and type in developer.apple.com. All right. And so the very, very, very first thing that you need to do is you'll need to register your Apple ID as a developer account. So if you haven't already, this is the most important step. Go ahead and register your account as a developer account. That way you have access to all these different developer tools. But once you've gone ahead and done that, we'll just go ahead and scroll here. Don't get distracted like I was getting distracted there. Go ahead and click on macOS Sonoma, and then we'll click this download button, and I can show you the 2 or 3 different ways that we can download macOS. So once you've signed into your developer account, you will see the different profiles that you can install to any of your devices. And let's just keep scrolling here because again, we're looking for macOS beta, which is right here. And so there's 2 different ways that we can do this. So let's talk about the first way. The first way, it's right here. If you have an M1 or an M2 Mac device, go ahead and download this image here from Mac computers with Apple Silicon. So you'll just click that. Right away, it should start downloading. You can see it's 14 gigs, so it may take a second, but I've already downloaded it, so I don't really need that one. Cool, but you'll go ahead and download that restore image. That's one way to do it. If you don't have an M1 or a M2 Mac, if you have an Intel device, I believe this device support here would be the image for you. Pretty sure. And then From there, there's a third way to download macOS beta. So if you've already installed macOS 13.5, I believe, so the current version of macOS, and then you've already registered your account as a developer account, what you can do is you can go into the system settings here. And let's make this a little bit bigger. I guess that's as big as it gets. So we'll go to system settings, we'll go to general, we'll go to software update, and then mine is already set up for automatic updates and beta updates, but there should be a switch here that lets you decide, and here it is here. So for beta updates, you can see previously it was off. Right now I have it set to macOS Sonoma Developer Beta. So anytime there's a new beta, I should be getting that update right away. And that's really it. That's all you need to do to upgrade to macOS Sonoma. Of course, it may take an hour or so, but once everything installs, you should be up and running, and you'll see that nice, beautiful lock screen, maybe even this exact same wallpaper, because that's what this is. Once you've done that, let's go back to developer.apple.com. And so let's just go to the homepage actually. And from this homepage here, the easiest way to get to the visionOS simulator and Xcode and everything else you need, you can actually just click visionOS here. And if you click download SDK, this takes you to the most recent version of Xcode. So right here, you can see we have Xcode Beta 2, and you can even click what additional installs you want here. And of course, we definitely want that visionOS beta. So once you have all of that selected, you'll go ahead and click the download button. And again, this should start a couple different downloads here. There you go. You can see I have Xcode beta installing, I have iOS 17 installing, and I have the visionOS simulator also installing. So pretty good start for a developer of any caliber. But yeah, that's really all you need to get started. So we'll go ahead and let those download, and then I can show you exactly how they install. All right, so now that Xcode finished downloading with both of our simulators, let's go ahead and open it and just go ahead and install it. So I have a bunch of stuff in here, but we'll open up that zip. All right. Perfect. And so now we should have Xcode beta. The last thing that you'll need to do is go ahead and put this in the right place. So let's put this in applications here. And now let's go ahead and just launch it. So give it a second. The first time that you run Xcode, it's going to ask for a bunch of permissions. It might even download a bunch of more gigabytes. So let's see what happens here. Looks like we have a pretty good first start. And the way that we can get to our visionOS simulator now, let's go ahead and just create a new project. And here yours might be on multi-platform. So go ahead and click over to visionOS, and then we'll click app. You'll click next, and let's call this our app. We'll do volume, we'll do full space. Let's hit next. We'll just make this on our desktop just because it's something I'm going to delete, but ideally you'd put this somewhere safe. And drum roll. What we should see here soon is the preview. So if we see our preview, that's already a really good sign. So let's give this a second. It's booting up for the first time. And drum roll. It's loading. There we go. We have our preview. Nice. So as you can see, we're already working on some type of visionOS app here. You can see we have some 3D content. You can see it's interactive. Pretty cool, but this isn't the simulator, so let's actually hit the play button here and make sure that Vision Pro is selected, but we'll go ahead and hit play. And what this will do is launch that visionOS simulator. give it the full screen. All right, and there you go. And so this one, it doesn't look like it erased anything I've already done, but definitely we're using the visionOS simulator. If I hit the home button here, I can dismiss my home screen. I tap it again, can bring my home screen back. We have our people, which I don't have any friends here. We have our environments, so I can switch to all these different places and just kind of chill out in Yosemite or Mount Hood. And if we go back to our apps here, not too much to look at, but we can launch at least the settings app, which is pretty cool in itself. I mean, just to see the settings in this 3D spatial environment. So definitely check out my next video where I'll cover how to use the simulator and how to, navigate the world that is around us here in 3D. But I'm so happy that you've joined this adventure to start visionOS development, and definitely like and subscribe this video because there's so much more content I'll be bringing to you in the future. Thank you. See ya.